Thanks so much for being with me today, Rachel. I am so excited to talk about how having kids affects our sexual energy with our partners. So thank you for being on today.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's been a little while, so it's time to get
We have
back
a
in the groove.
power pack segment today. And for those of our viewers, Rachel is the founder of Infinite Intimacy. She's a couples therapist with incredible strategies. And today, Rachel, I want to kick it off by asking you, how does having children affect our sexual energy with our partners? What do you see in your practice, and what do you give to us as advice as busy parents here?
So, what's so interesting is that being a caregiver kind of pulls out these different parts of ourselves that's really on the opposite end of the spectrum than our sexual selves, right? So, taking care of the kids, the routine, the rituals, children rely on those things. They require that kind of routine. The thing about our sexual self is that it needs some kind of mystery, some kind of novelty, adventure, and something new and different. And it creates this aliveness within ourselves. So when we're in this really routine role, we just get disconnected from that fun, vibrant side of ourselves.
Yeah, I think this is so true. And in the mom world, you can sit around those mom play dates, and especially if you talk to veteran moms that are maybe 10 to 18 years past having a baby, having a child that's young, and you hear a lot of times they'll say, I just fell out of love with my spouse, or that magic, I'm just not attracted to them anymore. And what I love about talking to experts like yourself that are therapists that have helped hundreds of thousands of couples and families is that we recognize that we can help build foundational elements here for couples so that they don't have to have that conversation. And we do see so many moms out there, loving, nurturing their children. But I wanted you to talk a little bit about the 12 to 18 month mark and why that is so important for us to transition ourselves out of that caregiver mode. Because let's face it, being the mommy caregiver is a really hard and very admirable job, but it is not sexy. So I want you to talk about that 12 to 18 month mark and why that's so important for us.
Absolutely. So after the children are born, right, we focus all of our attention, all of our energy, all of our love into these beautiful babies, which is so normal and just a part of our role as a parent, especially a new parent. Right.
Yeah.
But what happens is that it's not only this shift in our attention to our children, where both parents are really focusing on the child, making sure that the child is healthy and growing into a little person. When we shift that energy, it's not only shifting our attention and our focus, we are also actually receiving on a biological level that the love and affection. So have you heard of oxytocin?
Yeah.
Oxytocin is they call it the cuddle hormone, right?
Yeah.
So when those levels get filled by our children, because they're new and different and a mystery, and we're trying to figure them out and trying to, and we're loving on them and they're loving on us. And so we get all of our levels filled by our children.
Yeah.
And then that creates a gap between the parents. And when the gap happens between the parents, we kind of forget to turn to them for that love and affection as well.
Yeah.
So, when we have newborns, yes, it's so normal to really focus and love and give all of your attention to them. But really around the 12 to 18 month mark is when they're receiving all the love, and they're still going to receive the love, but then we kind of have to start to shift that focus back into the couple and back into our partners. And if we're really able to get a grasp on that, then you won't hear as much, oh, we fell out of love.
Yeah.
We're growing apart. I love them, but I'm not in love with them, because if we're not intentional about the direction that we're shifting our focus and where we're getting our love and affection, then we lose touch.
Yeah, I definitely love this reiteration. And for those moms that are joining, I help moms talk to experts. We talk to licensed therapists. This is not opinion. This is a licensed therapist coming to us that has counseled hundreds of thousands of couples that have fallen out of love, have lost the attraction. So we want to help our moms here to be healthy, to be happy, to be vibrant. And so we're bringing you tips at a foundational level. And I know a lot of moms out there are going to be uncomfortable hearing that 12 to 18 month mark, because you and I talked about before the show that so much love and affection and bonding that we get as mothers come from that mother-child bond.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, seeking that deep fulfillment in our partnership and our coupledom can be daunting, right? Because we've changed as mothers. So taking the steps to figure out our new relationship with that partner can be scary sometimes. It can look different than it used to. It may be a new normal.
Exactly.
And as a mom of 3, as a husband-wife couple, we work 7 days a week. We own multiple businesses. I am in the trenches with you. We really understand this. So, I would love for you to first give the quote that you told me about family. And secondly, talk a little bit about transitioning that love, that affection, that all-consumingness back to our partnership, and why that actually can help our child's developmental state and their emotional development. So I know a lot of moms out there are going to be like, but what if I shift that love away at 12 months? We're not shifting anything away from our children. We're simply transitioning and making sure that we redirect that sexual energy back to our partner. So I want you to talk a little bit about that transition and why it's actually beneficial for our kids.
Exactly. And the difficult part is that society tells us, that we're supposed to pour everything into our children. And it's really it can, when you hear it, it's kind of like, I don't understand, like these are my kids. I'm supposed to pay attention to them.
Yeah.
But really what happens is that if you're not also turning towards your partner and focusing on the couple, then ultimately there might not be a family in the end. So there's an amazing researcher. Her name is Esther Perel. She has several books. One of them is called Mating in Captivity. It's about how, partners tend to end up as friends and they don't reignite that sexual spark. Yeah. So she says, if all you do is preserve the family and let the couple go, then ultimately in the end, there won't be a family. So it's really kind of getting outside of all those messages that we've been told and all the things that we think we're supposed to do, and really pay attention to what makes your family work and what makes them whole. And what happens is once we start to redirect the energy to our partners, also giving our child love. We're not taking away love from our child, but we're also acknowledging that myself and my partner, we also need love from each other and not just from the child. Because over time, if the child learns that all we're getting, that all our love comes from them, then as they get older, they're going to feel like, I have to be around to provide this love for my parents. And if they see that, no, my parents have each other, they love each other, they're connected, they support each other, they're there for each other, then that frees me up as a child to say, I can go on my own, I can go off to college, I can go get this great job, I can, my parents will be okay, they don't need me. And the dynamic that happens when we're feeding all of our energy, all of our attention into our kids, it makes them feel like we need them, right? And even though we do, we love their love, it's unconditional love in a way that we've never felt before. But it's also acknowledging, that our partners are the ones that are really going to be by our side at the end, because children are supposed to grow up and go off and live on their own. And if we feel that we're too connected, then they're going to feel uncomfortable doing and being an independent, autonomous adult for themselves.
Yeah, I love it. So we always love to give our couples listening and our moms listening takeaways, because we know all this can sound terrific or it can sound idealistic, but then we say, how do we really put this into practice? So Rachel has 3 awesome tips to really implement in your relationship and help that transition from child-centric living, where we're nurturing, we're constantly there for our children, they really need us, into refocusing that sexual vibrancy, that adventure, that mystery back into our partners and back into our coupledom.
So one is to really make sure that you're engaging in new and different experiences with your partner, right? So that may sound, especially after just having a child, oh, this is an adventure on its by
Yeah.
itself, raising a child, a baby, and this is an adventure, a new and different adventure.
Yep.
But the idea is really to have that time with your partner and keep that aliveness and that vibrancy. So in the same way that you're taking the time to find new and different activities for your kids, right? That same kind of
Yeah.
motivation can shift into date nights, into time with your partner.
Yeah.
So the second thing is to not just engaging in new and different experiences, but really creating that time and that space for you and your partner.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, this is the time where you're supposed to have sex, but it's that you and that other person and just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
And once you create that space, and remember, intimacy is connection. So once you open that space for connection, then it opens the space for even deeper intimacy later on. So then we avoid that trap of, oh, it's been how long and we haven't been intimate. We haven't found that connection with
Right.
each other. So if we're just creating that space, either at the beginning of our morning, before we get into our routine, at the end of our day, then it really opens up that space.
Yeah.
So the last thing is either a redistribution of roles or creating a distribution of roles. So, we really need one parent that's really rooted in the family, in the children, in the family needs and the child's needs, right? That's so important. So if one parent is doing that, then the other parent needs to be the one responsible for keeping the couple alive, the couple's aliveness and
Awesome.
vibrancy, right? So it's both partners are focusing on two different things. One is focusing on, okay, the kids are okay, the family's okay, we're doing all right. And once that attention is on the kids, then the other partner can say, okay, the kids are being taken care of, now let's take care of us,
Man,
right?
I
Because
love that.
yeah, because the one that's focused on the kids, they get so, wrapped up in the kids that sometimes they forget. But what happens with couples is that when the one parent is focused on the kids and the partner says, okay, let's focus on us, the partner that's focused on the kids are like, oh, well, I'm doing all these things. And they kind of build this resentment of, what do you mean we have to focus on the
Right.
partner?
Yeah.
So instead of developing this kind of anger and animosity towards the partner that's trying to keep you together, really acknowledging and admiring the fact that you have two complementary roles.
Yeah, I
Right?
love that. And, I'll let you in on one of the secrets that we do here is we actually schedule quarterly getaways and we put them in our calendar like a year in advance. And all my friends watching are going to die laughing at me because they know I'm such a planner, but it's why we love our marriage so much. And there's times that people ask us like, wow, how do you always work so much and make time for each other and have all these kids? And it's because we actually schedule it and we make it a priority. And I pre-schedule all the childcare way in advance so that when that time comes around, we have it to look forward to and it's just locked in our schedule and there's no excuses. And it's really created a lot of fun for us to look forward to and plan that. And then Friday night date night is just a non-negotiable in our relationship. And we've talked about that in other episodes too, but those are two secrets that I think work really well is just lock it in that schedule so that you both know you value it and look forward to it. It creates that excitement, that livelihood, and that adventure. And Rachel, I just want to say thank you. Your tips are always so helpful. And I appreciate you helping us as moms to live the best life that we can, full of love and joy, and really focus on self-care and taking care of those priorities in our life that will be long lasting far after our kids have flown the coop so that we can have happy, healthy relationships. So thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
And if you guys have questions for Rachel, the founder of Infinite Intimacy, find her on Instagram at Infinite Intimacy LLC. She's amazing. And you can also email us any questions you have. You'll be anonymous at info@ihelpmoms.com. Thanks for tuning in, you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.